Coming to paperback and e-readers, from the author of the critically acclaimed book The Man Crisis comes The Woman Crisis. Learn why so many women are becoming lost in their quest to have it all in The Woman Crisis. Pre-order your copy of The Woman Crisis on Amazon.com today. One of my viewers wanted me to do another installment in the Beta Males in History series, and he wanted me to talk about Paul Bernardo. Now, Paul Bernardo is a Canadian serial killer and sexual deviant who is known for participating in a series of sex crimes in Scarborough, Ontario, Canada. And your Paul Bernardo and his wife Karla Holmka basically mirror that of your American Charles Starkweather and Carol Fugate, who terrorized the country when they participated in a series of murders as they traveled across the country. Now, your Paul Bernardo participated in behavior that was quite similar when he and his wife, Karla Holmka, went out here and participated in this series of sex crimes. Now, when I take a critical examination of your Paul Bernardo, he definitely fits the pattern and profile for beta males that I talk about in my book, The Man Crisis. Now, your Paul Bernardo was conceived from an extramarital affair that his mother was having, and she revealed this secret to her son when he was 16 years old. However, before he even turned 16, your Bernardo had a history of dark sexual fantasies and enjoyed humiliating women in public and beating many of the women that he dated. And when you look at this behavior, it definitely fits everything I talk about regarding the sexual frustration of the beta male and the sexual deviancy of the beta male. Now, many of these beta males participate in this sexual deviancy because they are frustrated about not being able to express themselves in a healthy sexual way, and because many of these men have shame regarding their expressing themselves sexually. What they do is go to a place I call the secret world. Now, in this secret world, it is a place where the beta male feels safe about expressing himself sexually. And in that secret world, this male, because he has no real connections to real human beings, what he does is participate in sex acts that he finds pleasure in, but because there is no woman to reciprocate, he goes out here and participates in these sex acts, where he gets gratification, and he does not care about a partner because he is completely detached from other people. And that's where your Paul Bernardo possibly started his whole journey into becoming a sexual deviant, because he was out here in the secret world, possibly having these dark sexual fantasies, and in those fantasies he was getting gratification from humiliating these women. And as he was out here physically beating women he was dating, he then wound up not getting gratification just from beating these women. He wanted to get further gratification, and that's where he started exploring sexual deviancy. And this is par for the course when it comes down to these beta males. Whenever they go out here and start with these dark fantasies, they then escalate their behavior to going from just abusing women to going out here and participating in sexual violence. Now, as your Paul Bernardo was out here, he then got involved with Karla Holmka, and as he got involved with your Karla Holmka, he then continued to escalate his sexual deviancy and then involved his wife in his sexual deviancy. And what is even more disturbing is that as he was involving his wife in his deviant sexual violent behavior, he then escalated this behavior to even look to make it where they went out here and used the sister of Karla Holmka, Tammy Holmka, and then got her drunk, filled her with sleeping pills and alcohol, and then went out here and violated her body. And then after they violated her body, then she wound up getting sick and was choking on her vomit. And sadly, the sister of Karla Holmka wound up dying as a result of this deviant behavior, where your Karla Holmka had been with this deviant so long that she actually gave her sister to him as a birthday present. That just shows again the depravity of the beta male as related to sex, that he has no regard for anybody, and he will just abuse anyone in the secret world so that he can go get his fantasies as related to getting himself gratified. Now, as after that he had led to the murder of the sister of Karla Holmka's sister, this deviant went on a serial thing where he was out here abusing and violating women over the course of 3 years. And as he was out here, he was stalking these women as they were getting off the bus. And as he was stalking these women as they were getting off the bus late in the evening, he participated in a series of sexually violent acts where he either wound up sexually violating a woman or he wound up attempting to sexually violate a woman. But it just shows how this beta male was just completely depraved, and how he was just, again, using his rod to go out here like a weapon and looking to do harm to these women, because he got some sense of power from abusing these women, and he got pleasure from seeing these women in pain. This is what beta males do when they are extremely depraved. That for them, this is all about them going out here and getting pleasure from humiliating and breaking down women. And this is what they do when they're out here. They look to break down a woman. And really, I believe he's looking to break down these women because he was very angry with his mother. Because once his mother told him that he was the product of an extramarital affair, he had grown angry at her, and he wanted to get back at her by going out here and violating and abusing these women. Because many of these beta males, again, they are extremely deviant, they are extremely violent, and they are extremely sick. And these individuals, they look to hurt women for the way they felt hurt by one woman, possibly their mother. And that's one of the things that leads to these men seething in rage for an extended period of time. Many of these males wind up seething in anger because they feel hurt by their mothers, and because they feel hurt by their mothers and don't feel any love for their mothers, they want to get revenge on their mothers for not loving them, so they want to hurt other women. And that's possibly was one of the motives as related to your Paul Bernardo, who, again, definitely fits that pattern as related to those 2 chapters I wrote in The Man Crisis regarding the sexual frustration of the beta male and the sexual deviancy of the beta male. And because they see these people that they're hurting as parts of their fantasies of getting revenge, they become detached. And this is how he wound up taking the lives of 3 women and damaging the lives of 14 others and traumatizing 6 others. So this man was a terror to all of Canada with his extremely disturbing and depraved behavior. But in 1990, they eventually wound up catching your Paul Bernardo and his wife, and they eventually wound up finding out that your Paul Bernardo was not only participating in crimes, but other people were winding up getting convicted for crimes that Paul Bernardo committed, because in 2 cases where there were appeals, they found out that 2 men who had been arrested and charged for sex crimes, were innocent, and they were eventually acquitted when they found out it was actually Paul Bernardo who had participated in these crimes. And your Paul Bernardo, after participating in his depraved spree of sexual violence and sexual deviancy, was eventually wound up caught. And when he wound up caught, the Crown in Canada wound up arresting and charging him for all of these crimes. Now, your Holmka was offered a pre-bargain as related to these crimes and was able to get out after I believe, a 12-year sentence. But thankfully, your Paul Bernardo has been in jail since about 1993 or so, and he has been sentenced to a life sentence where inmates hated him so much that they were practically looking to go out and kill him because of the deviant behavior he participated in. And many of those inmates wanted to go out here and get Paul Bernardo, who has been in solitary confinement for the course of his life sentence. And within less than an hour after his 2021 attempt to get parole, he was quickly denied. And thankfully he was denied because this beta male was a monster who destroyed the lives of multiple women, and the only place he belongs, as I see it, is inside of that penitentiary, because this beta male is not a ticking time bomb. He is a landmine, and he's a landmine due to the dysfunctional sex education he received, because as he learned this deviant way to express himself sexually in the secret world, he does not see sex as a act that brings a man and a woman together in love. No, he sees his own penis as a weapon to go out here and break down women, and he sees himself as using his penis as a weapon to go out here and take power away from women, because he's angry at his mother and he wants to break down and humiliate these women in the way he would want to hurt his mother. He's a twisted and depraved individual, and again, he fits the pattern and profile for the extremes as related to beta males that I talk about in my book, The Man Crisis. And these individuals are extremely dangerous. And when I take that critical examination of Paul Bernardo, he is a textbook version of beta male who participates in the sexual violence and sexual deviancy because they are frustrated about their first relationship with a woman, their mother, being dysfunctional, and because they want to hurt their mother, they look to hurt other women, and this is what makes these men some of the most dangerous men as related to men being in crisis. Now, I'm hoping that this video gives the viewer the information that they wanted as related to how sick Paul Bernardo is, because this guy was just, again, sick, one of the sickest of the sick. And I really was disgusted reading about him as related to things. And if you want to learn what really motivates beta males to act in this depraved way, you can pick up my book, The Man Crisis, on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find The Man Crisis on Smashwords, the iBook store, and Google Play. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Now available in paperback and Kindle, Stop Simping in Cyberspace. Learn how to avoid predatory females like Instagram models and e-girls in their virtual con games with Stop Simping in Cyberspace. Get your copy of Stop Simping in Cyberspace in paperback and Kindle today.